So absolute values, basically, you can see, like when you write a absolute 5 means it's basically a distance from 0. Whenever you say absolute, it's a distance from 0. Distance from 0. Absolute. Basically, normally we look at it. So when you look at it, absolute, where is she? 1 second. Did I admit it? Yes. Wait, what's happening? This. Oh, hold on. Where did it go? So what does that mean is, if I take an absolute of 5, so you can definitely say it's positive 5 because distance is always positive. Okay, so it's a positive 5. But if I say absolute of negative 5, this is also a positive 5. Okay, so that's mainly about these absolute value functions are. Okay, it's a positive 5 and negative 5 is always.
Wait, if the negative's on the outside, it's negative, right?
Yes, the sign is outside of the absolute value, like this. It's always negative. Okay, so remember that. And then we're going to look at it in terms of what is the equations means and how do we solve them. That's what we're going to move on today. Okay. Now the notes on this one is basically absolute function. They write it as like this: absolute of a, They write it like this one. But again, whenever you have an absolute value function, the answer could be positive 5 or negative 5. Okay, so that's how you need to set up and solve the equation. And we're going to see some applications like why we need to put a positive and negatives. When we solve equations, we can talk about that also. Okay, so and also in these questions they ask you to graph them too, and also they have a algebra part. So we're going to try some. Yes.
So like you said you have a positive and a negative, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they both would be your answers?
Yes, both of them are the answers. The reason behind, if I say absolute x is 4, x could be negative 4 or x could be positive 4. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And both gives you 4. So both of them are the answers. Does that make sense?
Oh, so in a test you would have the option for both?
Yes, you will have the option for the both. And if you answer the both, then only you get the right answer. Even they give you a positive 4 and then there is another option of negative 4 and the other option of negative 4, positive 4, then you have to choose negative 4, positive 4. Okay? So that's called absolute value functions. Bhavsha, have you learned the absolute value functions before or no?
I think I've done a couple, but I probably need to refresh.
Okay, that's good. How about you, Saisha? Saisha, are you there?
Yeah.
Can you put your video up there? I know Bhavsha has a little trouble with the camera there. But
yeah, 1 minute.
Yeah, please share that. Thanks. So when you solve this one, for absolute x plus 2 equals 24, first what we need to do is just like a, simple equations. You need to isolate the absolute first. So I see the extra absolute 4 is there. So what I'm going to do, it's a multiplication, right? So I'm going to do the opposite. So opposite is divide. So divide by 4 here and then divide by 4 here. So that's the first step you need to do whenever you have absolute functions. So you get x plus 2 absolute equal 20, or 24 divided by 4, that is 6. Okay? So that's absolute of x plus 2 equals 6. Now, when I solve this one, x plus 2 could be a positive 6 or x plus 2 could be a negative 6. because you remember, right? Absolute could be positive or negative. So we have to set up both together. We have to set up the both positive and negative also. And then you solve it. So you just solve the equation, just like we did it last time. Plus 2, right? Just take away 2 here, take away 2. X equal 4. Or take away 2 here, take away 2, x equal negative 8. So your answer is solution negative 8 and 4. Okay. Both of them are your answers. Since we did this one, we got a negative 8 and positive 4 our answers. I'm going to check whether I did it correctly or not. So I'm going to check, let's see, I'm going to take this. So I'm going to check. So I know the equation is 4 parentheses x plus 2 is 24. Now let's check it. Let's take negative 8. Okay, so the x value is negative 8. So x is negative 8. I'm going to put it right here. So 4 parentheses negative 8 plus 2. What's negative 8 plus 2?
Oh, okay. Negative 6.
Negative 6. But absolute of negative 6 is positive, right?
Yeah.
So that's positive 6. Then 6.
I get 4 though now. Okay.
Okay. In the same way, you can put it 4. 4 plus 2 is 6.
Yeah.
6 times 4, that's 24. So you get the 2 answers anytime you do solve the absolute functions. Okay?
It's because the 4 divides by the 20.
In this one, when I see the absolute value, definitely absolute is right here. Okay? So I'm going to keep that one to the end, always. I'm going to keep the absolute to the end. So what I'm going to do, that's minus 3, I'm going to add 3 on both sides. So I end up with x absolute x equal positive 7. Okay? So what absolute x means, but x could be negative 7 or x could be positive 7. Okay? That's the answer. So the first step, when you look at this question, first step is like, where is my absolute? So my absolute is right here. So I'm going to keep this and also then the one next to it. I'll keep it to the end. Then I'm going to take away this. It's a minus 12. So I'm going to add 12 on both sides. Add 12 to the other side. Okay. Now 3 absolute x equal, what is that, 30? Now 3 times absolute, because 3 absolute means 3 times. So I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides. So I'm going to get
it. Then I got it right.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure if you can do it twice, like plus 12 and then divide by 12. But okay. I just wanted to make sure about that.
That's good. That's good. Because learning to write is that's important. Okay. And then positive 10, negative 10, or the positive 10. Both of them, both answers. It is important you learn it right. That is really priority. If I see any absolute, that means it's always positive. Now. So now, yep. So now let's solve this question. First step, look for the absolute. This is my absolute. Leave it for the end, just like a variable. Now take away 4 on both sides. So you got x plus 3, that is 0. So x plus 3 equals 0 means, absolute can be 0 because if it is x equals 0. So 0 doesn't have a negative 0. Okay? So absolute x plus 3, it's only 0 because there is no negative 0. So now they can solve it. That's going to be minus 3. And this is x is value is negative 3. Okay? So this is the one case. Absolute of x value is negative 3. If you look at the question, first thing, you always look for the absolute. Where is my absolute? This is my absolute. I'll keep that one for the end. And then I can see plus 8 is extra. So I'm going to take away 8 on both sides. This gone. Now 5 minus 8, that's negative 3. Now x plus 2. Now I want to ask a question. When I solve an absolute, I'm ending with a negative 3. I don't see any negatives in front or the outside or anywhere. But I see absolute of this is giving me a -3. I'm thinking my question, but absolute means it's positive. Mr. Rama said it's always positive, but how can be it's -3? So whenever you see this type of things, it's simply no solution. Remember in the equations we talk about the no solution and infinite solutions? This is the special condition for the absolute value functions. Anytime you see an absolute and a negative number there, and don't do it at all. You don't need to do math at all. You just write it, no solution. That's easy. Try this one absolute value function. So first of all, you see the absolute right here. And then there's a -6, so you're going to be opposite is +6. So as you get absolute of x minus 4, that's 0. That means there's no -0 or +0. So x minus 4 is 0. X is +4. Okay? So this is a simple get the answer straight now. So let's see. So when you solve this question, first step is, where is my absolute? This is my absolute. And then you want to, first thing is you want to take away 2, both sides.
Yep.
Okay. Then you get absolute 3x, that is +6. But again, absolute means one time positive, one time negative, so it's going to be 3x is +6, and 3x is going to be a -6. And 3x means 3 times, so divided by 3, so that's going to get x is 2, or x is -2. So x is 2 or -2. Okay? This one could be positive one time, and this one could be negative one time. So +1 is going to be positive, and then 3x plus 1 is going to be -13. So if I subtract 1, 3x is going to be a 12, right? Then x is going to be 4, just like solving the equations. And then here, 3x is going to be -1 on both sides. That's going to be -14. So the x is going to be -14 over 3. So your answers are x is 4 or -14 over 3. Okay? So both of them are the answers. So the first step, when you solve this question, you're going to take away 14 on both sides, right?
Yep.
Agree? Now, when I do that, x minus 3 equal, what's 5 minus 14? Negative what? 9? You agree? Negative 9? Okay, now ask the question. Absolute?
Yeah, that's exactly what I did.
That's right. Can an absolute can be a negative number?
Yeah, no.
So that means no solution.
Oh, okay.
Okay.